Okay, we're going to start with The Nation. What Tinubu should do on security by IG, DSS, and NSA. Poll petition, INEC President-elect oppose live telecast. Tariff raise threatens manufacturing business, MEN warns. Buhari returns from London. APC urges senators to avoid 2015 fiasco. Why Hilda Baci is yet to get the World Guinness Record certification. U.S. mission officials feared killed in Anambra.
Okay,
Which story are we starting with?
Yes, the major headline says what Tinubu should do on security. So, as we know, that there's an ongoing induction program by the NGF, that's Nigerian Governors Forum, for re-elected governors and governors-elect that ahead of the inauguration. Yesterday being the second day, we had some of the security chiefs from the present administration who were there to give their tips to the president-elect on what he should do and how to tackle insecurities. Some of the key figures of the outgoing government that they recommended are youth engagement, security architecture rejig, enhanced funding, and application of non-kinetic approach. The IG was there, the National Security Advisor, Major General Monguno was there, DSS DG was there, and they all gave their other governors as well were there, and they all gave their 1 cent or 2 cents. Soludo says that he is very happy that the president-elect had made one of his campaign promises state policing, that gives him confidence, and so he's hoping to see that, being implemented. Some of the governors spoke about youth engagement, and all these are youth programs. Says it should go beyond just giving youth handouts, but creating for them an enabling environment. There should be more youth investment so that they can go ahead to create jobs and employment and wealth. They also called to the government to, especially in the north, to work on security because it's important that we acknowledge the close ties that exist between security, economic development, investment, and growth. That, the lack of security is really affecting government expenditure. They're using almost all their budget on providing security, more monies that could have been gone towards the development of the states in other ways, and so much more.
So let's talk about Hilda Baci for a bit. And, she just finished the cookathon where she did 100 hours, beating the former...
100 hours and 40 minutes.
Yes.
To get it right.
Former person who did about 87 hours, 45 minutes. Now, Nigerians are worried why she had not gotten the certificate yet. But they said the British reference body on their website clearly outlined how the records are set and certified. Said after carrying out an official world record attempt in the presence of the independent witnesses and any other specialists, the evidence of the attempt and new record must be submitted with a cover letter and all other required documents for the records management team to review the application, the process, and then that can even take up to 12 weeks. So I think Nigerians need to, calm down on that. They also mentioned the fact that she didn't get a member of the Guinness World Records to be a part of the people witnessing that might have, that is something that may be delaying. That would have fastened if a member of the Guinness World Record was there to, witness everything. But now they have to wait and go through the process. So Nigerians should calm down. I heard that they went to their page and they were just saying all sort of things.
And they went to the other lady's page.
No.
They were really
insulting her. Let's mess this up.
And the girl was like,
insulting who?
The previous...
Yeah.
No, no. Let's not mess this thing up for this.
We really said a lot of unspeakable things.
Let's learn to calm down. Nigerians, please.
You see the face behind this message.
They don't even have phones.
We need to regulate social media.
Manufacturers Association of Nigeria have said that they've asked the federal government to suspend the 2023 fiscal policy measures, the FPM. Now, the fiscal policy measure is a set of tools designed by the federal government to foster economic growth by expanding investment. By expanding investment in the public and private sectors, by diversifying resources from less desirable investments to more desirable ones. Now, they're saying that one of the major components of this FPN is the fact that excise duties will be increased, and they're saying that if that happens, that would have a domino effect on manufacturing and their revenue. They also used the example of the brewery industry, saying that they suffered a massive decline of negative 169% in profit before tax in Q1 2023. So all these excise duties would actually ripple effect on the Nigerian economy, that they should please suspend it for now. And I hope we'll see how that goes. Moving on quickly now to the Punch. Strike. Doctors Sean talks. Medical tourism gobs $3 billion in 3 years. Army rewards 58 soldiers with, guess what? Bicycles and cash gifts. Court remands Seun Kuti, police come home for exhibits. Anambra, gunmen killed 2 U.S. consulate officials and 2 cops. Manufacturers threaten shutdown over excise duty hike. Strengthen anti-graft agencies, FG advises Tinubu. National Assembly leadership, APC warns Akpabio Abbas against upset. And Nigeria needs $12 billion to clean up oil spills, says report. Okay, which story? Who has the major headline?
Major headline, yes. So Nigerians spent about $3 billion on foreign healthcare-related services from 2020 to 2022. This is according to findings by The Punch. The total spending of the period under review was obtained from the balance of payments database of the Central Bank of Nigeria. So this also came, we know that the National Association of Resident Doctors have embarked on a strike, which started yesterday. And one of the reasons the doctors are striking, amongst others, is the fact that they need proper infrastructure for the healthcare system. And though they had, the federal government said they had started talks with the Nigerian Medical Association, the strike is still ongoing. So they said the least bill for medical tourism is one of the issues they have. Nigeria spent a total of $7.07 billion on overseas treatment between 2016 and 2022, and the least bill was in 2016, about $17 million, while the highest amount was spent in 2019, which was about $2.56 billion. So this is a breakdown of all the amount of money that has been spent on medical tourism. And the president of the National Association of Resident Doctors, Dr. Emeka Oji, said that one of the problems we have in the medical space is the fact that politicians and well-to-do Nigerians are taking their money outside the country for, you know, their medical, for medical tourism, so to speak, because they can afford it. That if everybody pulls the resources together, they will be able to see where the loopholes are, what the problems are. If the politicians can use the medical facilities here, then they understand where the problems are. And by now, we would have been better off in terms of our medical infrastructure. And so this is one of the reasons they are calling for the strike, that something has to be done. We need to pool our resources together. And I agree wholeheartedly with them.
All right, so let me take the update on Seun Kuti. So as you all know, the police had dragged him to court concerning the recent assault on Inspector Mohammed Aminu a few days ago. And they took him to court and they prayed the court to remand him, according from their lawyers. The Magistrate Court in Lagos, Magistrate Adeola Olatubos was one that was presiding over the case. They prayed the court to actually remand him in prison for 21 days while investigation was ongoing. And they obviously quoted the Section 356 of the Nigerian Criminal Code. That's what he that was what he acted contrary against. And but the court, obviously, his defense lawyer came on, and the court was saying that they will remand him for 48 hours, and it's a bailable offense. There's no need to keep him in the jail for 21 days. Because there was no need for that. It's a bailable offense, which they put the bill as 1 million naira to provide, I think it's 3 shorties. One must have a landed property, you know, the whole basic thing they always do, 3 years tax payments, receipts, and all that. So once he does that, he adjourned the case to May 22nd. So he'll be in prison for 2 extra days. And then once they pay the bill, he can be released.
2 more days?
48
Just
hours.
48 hours, yeah.
That would have been since...
Yeah, so it's probably maybe today or something will be released. But the point is that the police seem to want their pound of flesh, because according to reports from Punch, the police officers were really charging at him to say, let him know that if it was them, if it was me that you slapped like that, you know, that kind of thing. But really
he reported, he took himself to the police. That also
he turned himself in, which was a good thing. So we're hoping that as they're investigating, it's also could be cautioned to ensure his human rights are not violated.
Yeah.
This is something that everyone is echoing. We know you want your pound of flesh, but
you don't overdo it.
Don't overdo it. Do it within the confines
ambits of the law. Because now we go stick
Okay,
you out.
let's go to... You have a story in
yes.
Punch. Go ahead, please.
So this tragic story, 4 staff members of the United States...
So let me pause. You have to go on a break, please.
Okay.
When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Okay, we're going to continue with... You had a story in Punch.
Punch, yes.
Ahead,
so 4 staff members of the United States Embassy here in Nigeria have been shot dead in Ogbaru local government area of Anambra State. Their vehicle was attacked on Tuesday. They said that as of the time of the report, we haven't ascertained why they were attacked. They said these officials were on a humanitarian mission in the state while they were passing through this local government and their vehicle was shot at. The hoodlums now dragged them out of their bus and killed them and burnt them. Oh. Then we had security operatives. They had noticed that security operatives were gaining on them, and then they left with 2 mobile officers. They kidnapped those 2, and they drove away. The police are saying that they're on their heels. They're going to make sure that they find these people. But they're also saying that for the caliber of people that were in that bus, they should have spoken to the police command first, or told the police that they were on their way into that state or through that state, that usually that's what you would do. But, you know, they're working on making sure that they find who these murderers and arsonists are. This is just such a sad story,
very sad
not a good story. Okay, but I think it's important to note that there are no American citizens, they're all Nigerians, no American citizens were shot in this.
Vanguard, federal government incurs 6.8 trillion deficit in 8 years under Buhari. 4 U.S. embassy staff killed in Anambra. Assault, court orders Shinkuti's detention. The VS secures 20 billion naira commercial paper upsize. Buhari baffled by pervasive level of corruption, says presidency. FG establishes 13 metropolitan fire stations across Nigeria. And Emefiele's Naira redesign curbed terrorism, Arewa youth tell Matawale. Okay. Which story are we starting with?
Okay, the federal government has established 13 metropolitan fire stations in some cities across the country, in addition to establishing federal fire service in 36 states of the Federation. The Minister for Interior commissioned the newly established Metropolitan Fire Station in FCT. He noted that the protection of lives and property of Nigerians has been of utmost importance to this administration. And so it shows the president's serious attention to, you know, our well-being. It's just to show that, you know, we have many more. We have established 13 metropolitan fire stations across Nigeria. I think it's good news because we always say that we have a
deficit
of fire stations. So
a couple, their only child and 7 others have been killed in fresh attacks in communities in Benue State by suspected herdsmen. They said the communities affected in the latest attacks include Akbanta, Ochumeko, and Ijaha in Apa local government area of the state. They said 3 persons were killed in cold blood, and Uchen, which is a border community between Makurdi and Gwe local government areas, excuse me, where 6 persons lost their lives. The national chairman of Apa Development Association, Mr. Eche Akpoko, confirmed the attack in Apa Council, explained that the invaders stormed and razed the affected communities during the weekend after killing the victims. He said the villages were burnt down. The attackers killed 3 people in a Jaha village. On the Uchen attack, the Temakodi chief, Vincent Ole, confirmed the attacks as well, said the armed herders killed 6 persons in the community, and another fell and died on seeing the remains of his murdered relatives. So after the people had been killed, I think one of their relatives came. When he saw the lifeless bodies, he collapsed and fainted. They have taken them to the hospital. They claim that they came about 2:30 a.m. while these persons were sleeping, and they killed them in their sleep. So they are saying that they've done nothing to these herders. They just sit on their own. They don't have any squabble, no issues with them. They come in and kill them. And so they need the government to do something about this. They can't keep running away from their environments because of these suspected herders. So
okay, so the special assistant to the president on media, Garba Shehu, was speaking yesterday that he's rather baffled that corruption is still prevalent in Nigeria today. That Buhari is above board. You know, he has always been above board, above issues of corruption, that he's not retiring to a stash of millions, that he goes to sleep peacefully, calmly every day. Even he, Garba Shehu, after they leave in 2 weeks, he will sleep peacefully because he knows nobody within Nigeria or even outside Nigeria can ever say that he has millions or billions stashed somewhere, or even Buhari that he goes that, but he's quite baffled. And the best they can do as the executive arm is to prosecute and let the law take its course. That once they put you in the court proceedings start, it's out of their hands. The court will handle the rest. But he's quite shocked and baffled.
I wanted to ask, please, what does baffle mean?
Because
He's
check the
Google baffled.
dictionary.
So disturbed.
Baffle.
Or he's really, bewilderment. I mean, what are the words? Did you Google it?
Yes, I have, but I'm trying to look for the meaning in Nigerian English.
Nigerian English. Okay, let's move on while you're looking for that to the Nigerian Tribune. You never know. These are people, they don't know what's going on in Nigeria. Tinubu to open talks with G6, Yari, and others. Many escape as gunmen open fire on travelers along the Ado-Akure road. Gunmen killed 38, set many houses on fire in Plateau. Senate approves independent candidacy. NEC to revoke license of Kaduna Disco, over 51 billion naira energy underpayment. EFCC operatives dies during scuffle with colleagues over suspects seized items. And Oyebode Kokori Asaju to Asiwaju, how to deliver good leadership and governance. Okay, which story are we starting with in Tribune?
Another attack in Plateau State, this time in Mongu local government. 38 people have been reported killed, women and children especially. They said this gunmen came into their community and were just shooting at people around 1 a.m. They said that they had heard gunmen had gone into a neighboring community in Bokos area. So this particular village, because of what they had heard, they were trying to gather themselves together. They had asked women and children to come out. They were putting them in trucks to leave the community when the gunmen invaded theirs and shot at them, most of them, trying to get on the trucks. The governor is, of course, really upset about this. Security operatives are on ground to find out who these people are. And also he's directed the emergency agencies to go there and, deal with any humanitarian issues that may have arisen because of this. It's just so sad. The members of communities are saying they're tired. This is just too many, too often. Every day there's one story or the other, people coming in, shooting and leaving, I'm just sad that we're still talking about this. I hope that we would see some light at the end of the tunnel. It's crazy. I mean, if we have criminals, then we should be able to even catch them ahead of time. This is not the first time we have these people just going on a rampage. We should be able to find one or two of them and find their hideouts and find their motives and deal with this thing once and for all.
Okay. Another sad story, Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on Tuesday narrated how a scuffle among 3 officials at its Sokoto Zonal Command led to the death of one of them, Inspector Abel Issa Dixon, May 7th. According to the story, they said they were quarreling over where to keep what they had seized from a suspect. And that degenerated. They didn't give us the details of how it happened, but one of them lost his life. So the 2 officers are being punished right now by the EFCC. They have been suspended. They have been charged to court already. And EFCC is saying they do not accept any form of misconduct, especially for things like this. There should be a proper arrangement on where to put the suspects' properties or whatever that has been seized. It's not for them to be fighting against it. They have sent their condolences to the family of the deceased person, and the other 2 suspects are in custody now, will be dealt with.
Okay, so I was going to take the fact that the National Assembly had asked the clerk to forward to the president for assent bill number 58, which is about the independent candidacy. Many have asked for this constitutional review for independent candidacy, which is a great thing to have somebody who can actually run. But however, for me, I think the terms
independent
of
a party.
independent of a party. Yeah. I think it was Ross Perot in the US that did it sometime, and it was really interesting to see him, although he didn't get so many votes. But it was good to have an independent candidate to also run alongside others for the presidency, governorship, local government council, and other elections. However, the requirements for this is still rather stiff because according to the bill, the independent candidate, he or she must obtain a verified signatures of at least 20% of registered voters from each state of the federation, provided that a registered voter shall not sign for more than one independent candidate in respect. So
Makes
it's
sense.
it's still fine. I mean, but just that, you know,
Yeah,
it's
if
a
you're
lot of
going to
work
be
do.
the president of a country,
You should be able to
have at
get 20.
lead people, yeah. People should want to follow you.
So, but that is all we can take on that. I think, do we have time for more? Let's see Nigerian Tribune.
We've done Tribune.
We've done Tribune.
This one.
Oh, The Guardian. Yeah, I have just a minute left.
Small
Less.
story, yeah.
The Guardian, pressure, lifestyle increase, high BP among Nigerian youths. Any other story? Resident doctors begin warning strike today, set with May 29 deadline for FG's intervention. Any other story? I think that's it. That's the story you want to take?
Yes, so today is World Hypertension Day, and recent figures suggest that more than 76.2 million Nigerians are living with hypertension, and many more are expected to develop the disease alongside its complications. They said stroke, kidney damage, heart attack, erectile dysfunction, ultimately sudden death if the condition is not properly treated. So according to the Nigerian Heart Foundation, NHF, the prevalence of hypertension is about 31.1%. And, you know, when you look at the estimated population of about 200 million, that means we have 76.2 million people who are hypertensive, and it costs money to maintain it. They say about 15,000 naira to get the drugs to maintain this. So the advice is that we must begin to change our lifestyle, especially in places like the cities, where change your food, change your lifestyle, so that you can manage or stay away from even having the hypertension at all. It's a long, every time everybody's buying BP drug here, BP, every family has somebody who is taking BP medicine. It's just...
That is all we can take on Front Page Review. When we return, we'll bring in our sponsored segment from FBN Quest. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned.